So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Q&A of the week, and we have some very interesting questions this week. But just wanted to let you guys know that I'm going to be live today at around 7 p.m. on Odyssey. I'm making sure for verification if that occurs. So I'll just do more Q&A, today. Let me see if I got, okay, yeah, I think I'm good to go. So I'll be there on Odyssey answering like live questions. And I've already also put a video on my KRS blogs on my school academy about name compatibility and how I study a chart. I'm going to be putting that video soon as well. You can check out that at this link here. So start from the first question. Tanushiri, is activating any planet or nakshatra always beneficial or depends on the birth chart? If you're, let's say, using good houses, let's say it could be Kendra, second house, fifth house, ninth house, 11th house, they usually are beneficial, But the thing is, sometimes we may want to activate the eighth house. Sometimes we have to activate the sixth house or 12th house. For example, somebody's wanting to go to foreign lands. And they're like, I really want some access to foreign place. That doesn't mean like you go from India to US. It's just perhaps you just want to go from India, go to Singapore, in Malaysia, or Japan, and just even visit. Well, in that case, you probably want to activate your 12th house or 9th house, especially if the 12th house is showing that yes, activating this particular planet will take you to a foreign place, meaning 12th lord is in the 9th house or the 3rd house. Okay, so yes, it does become very personalized. Let's say somebody is doing intense spiritual practices and they want to, really activate their 8th house, which is connected with Kundalini. And they're going to meet their teacher and guru, and they really want to help from that. So we want to see that, okay, activating 8th lord, is that beneficial for that Kundalini awakening? How's that 8th lord placed? Then I'm like, okay, yes, make the drawing of the 8th lord nakshatra animal. And when you go in 3-4 days, meet your teacher who's going to help you with this, it actually will enhance that particular house. But you can't just be randomly activating your 8th house on your own when you have no idea what you're doing. Which actually gives me a segue into my next question, which is from M. Tribang. Talk about chakras and their beej mantra activation. So there's a reason why I picked this particular question, because nobody should be talking about chakras unless they have experienced it. Number one, everybody's out there talking about opening your heart chakra and third eye chakra, and they don't realize until you have activated your Muladhara chakra. Okay, because Muladhara, Swadhisthana, and Manipura, the first 3 chakras, are the most important. They're the most important. Without that, your body cannot sustain the energy of the Kundalini. And especially you got to understand with Muladhara Muladhara chakra is connected with wealth. The stronger your Muladhara is, the stronger your incoming wealth is. And again, you got to be very careful when trying to, chant mantras of the beej mantra. Because what happens when you're chanting, those beej mantras of the chakra, what are they doing? They're churning the oceans of the karma. Because chakras are connected with the karmas. So that means now karma is being, unraveled. Can you handle it? So this is why, please stop reading books. Stop watching even videos on it until you can go to a proper teacher and experience them. Don't try to dive into these things. And I'm saying from my experience, because if spirituality, the highest of spirituality is 10, I am at 0.59. I'm not even 1 yet. I'm at 0.59%. So you see how far behind I am. And that's the problem, because when you become some form of a public figure in a certain area, people expect you to know everything. People expect you to experience the things that they're going to ask you. And I'm at least letting you know that no, I have no clue about any of these. I've not even experienced one chakra being activated. Forget the rest of them. Now, easily, someone can make a video that I had a Kundalini awakening and these are the chakras and this is how you activate them. And you will just fall into that trap and even cause more damage to yourself. So please be careful in trying to, talk about chakras and Kundalini. Nobody knows anything about them. 99.9% of the people have no clue about what they are and why certain chakras should be opened up first, mastered upon first, before you go to the next chakra. Okay. Then is from Parnav Raji. Is the destiny fixed in astrology or does it change with action? For example, spouse. I believe I've already answered this question already, that majority of your destiny is fixed. The change can only happen when you can dissolve that unchangeable karma. Because we are exhausting, and again, this is a perfect segue from the last question, like how chakras are, wielding upon the karma. And this is why when you do practices like Kriya Yoga, okay, whatever yoga you do, it is helping you to burn those tight knots of karma. It's loosening it up, which is not in your Annamaya Kosha body, the physical body, it's in the prana body. Prana body is where the karma exists. This is why the yogis have emphasized on the prana breath. They only care about the breath. They're not caring about how beautiful their body's looking. They're not caring about, if their hair looks good, if they're neat and clean, if they smell good. For them, prana has to be the most beautiful thing. Prana has to be the most attractive feature, because that's the only thing that they are focusing upon. And it's all about the prana. There's different stages of kriya. And there's something called final kriya, where that one final kriya breath helps you exit the body right away, no matter what. But it's all the technique of the breathing. It's all the technique of the spine. How far you take the breath and bring it down, then maybe you'll take back up to the top, bring it down to a certain point again. Inhaling fast and exhaling slow. All these little games and these chess games are there with the prana. They will help you dissolve your karma. So this is why where certain people you meet who, let's say, have been practicing, their yoga and their pranayam for 15, at minimum of 12 years. But if they're practicing 12 years or more, suddenly the transit, sometimes even less, the transit are not affecting them. The bad yogas are not affecting them. And you're like trying to ask them, did this happen? Did that happen? They're like, no, 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 no. So either, the astrologer themselves starts doubting themselves, or it's simply because this person is actually doing spiritual practices. The horoscope is useless on them. And even if you're married, it doesn't matter, because you have burned off all those karmas. But yeah, it takes time, depending upon how much you have been doing from past life, what things you have done in your past. So it's intertwined. But again, our job is not to simply seek how much karma we have or not have, or free will we have or not have. Just burn it. Okay, that's it. Just burn it. That's the only focus. Then Lulia Marco 25. Why do I always have the burning feeling of letting go of things after a while? For example, letting go of jobs, of a place, of people. Should I let go, move, or when I have these feelings, or should I try to stay where I'm keeping the job and the people I have at the moment? Okay, so usually when you're constantly changing things, from relationships to jobs to friendships to material items, usually I've always seen a dominant Purva Ashada nakshatra working. Purva Ashada nakshatra is represented by what animal? It's the monkey. What does a monkey do in jungle? Goes from one branch and holds on to the next one. Then they go from that branch to the other branch, kind of like Tarzan. So for them, life is about moving. It's not staying on one tree, not staying with one branch. They take on that one branch and they just want to leap forward. And so usually with Puna Vasu, I don't know if you have this, people will change job. They will get a job, lose a job, get a job, quit the job, get a job, fire from job, get into one small relationship, end it, get in the other one, get into one relationship. This is like that monkey brain. It gets bored really, really quickly. It wants to move. But also what this happens when you want to just let go of things, when you're not attached to something, perhaps it shows a spiritually evolving process where detachment actually becomes a norm in a person's life. And detachment doesn't mean that you just don't care about those things. No, you love them, you care about them. But if they're detached from you, if they're taken away from you, you are not emotionally affected by it. Because as soon as you're emotionally affected by it, now you have created a new bond of the karma. And so when something passes away, something gets lost, you're like, it was sad, but all right. If you know internally you're not affected, then it is more of a spiritual progression of the soul. That soul realizes that whatever has just went, it's still here. It's not really detached. It's transformed into another form. And if you are good enough to see the aura of the prana, you can see that, oh, this person passed away and this is the prana right here. This is they're right there. And now they're going into the other world. And that's the thing. People who talk about, all these chakras and all of that, I have this activated. You should be able to see the aura of people. You should be able to smell a pranic fragrance from other people. It's a whole different ordeal about the chakras and activating of chakra. Like usually you will feel like a water bowl when your Manipura chakra is activated. Like there's a bowl with the water in it. I mean, there's all these things. We have nothing. We're nothing. But again, coming back to your question, the Purvashada nakshatra, including even Ardhra nakshatra, work very strongly in terms of when you're just bored and you want to let go of things. Then game over 20, Sun 29 degrees Libra. What does that mean for Leo ascendant? Well, what this simply means is that love for media, photography, technical arts, architecture. One wants to be on some kind of a stage and a platform in life through using media. You want to technically be creative. It's that simple. And especially you will see obsession with shoes will happen with this sun. Like one could be like, those sneaker heads, or one just has a passion for buying like nice leather shoes. And whenever you would buy shoes, you will suddenly either travel or you will do something creative, something artistic as soon as you will buy shoes. So these are the things you will see with this. Then comes Vishtasala Kale 35. What does a placement of Ketu say about one's spiritual progress, or how far close they are from attaining moksha? Well, it's not just one planet, that shows that, oh, this person's supposed to find moksha, but Ketu plays a significant role. Okay, because Ketu shows the tail of the karma. What is the heaviness of the karma that a person is, gonna deal with? And especially you have to look at Ketu in the D12 and D20 chart and see which houses it's placed in. Does the soul is here to fulfill the desire of the ancestors, work of the ancestors, or spiritual progress of the ancestors? In Vim Samsa chart, it will show, will there be struggle because of past life curses? Will there be struggles trying to attain your spiritual progress with Ketu? Or will it be an easy gain to attain those things? And you should already be working out the houses and stuff in your head with this. Perhaps a person may require a partner. In Vim Samsa, you may see it that a person may need a partnership actually in life to progress towards that spiritual path. Then, flower power. What are the planetary combinations of meeting spouses at early times or childhood? Okay. Yeah. Hold on. So yeah, okay. So for this question, the first thing we want to see is Deshkal Patra, meaning what the time and era we're living at. Because back just 60 years ago, 70 years ago, and before, it was normal for girls at 13 and boys at 14, 15 to get married. It was very normal. And if somebody, let's say, had a Saturn, they may get married at 15 or 16, which was considered late. So you have to look at that part, like which era are we living in? Maybe in 60 years down the line, people don't even get married till they're 50 or 60. In that case, if it shows marriage at 45, would be considered normal or maybe a little early. We don't know where the human society will be at. But if you want to see the combination in this Deshkal Patra, usually Moon and Mercury combinations in the 7th house in the birth, and influence of Mercury Moon in the Navamsha, okay, along with Venus will usually give a early marriage, and especially no malefic influence should be on there. And the timing has to run of those particular planets for the early marriage to take place. And especially if, let's say, Jupiter is in a beautiful sign, while let's say Moon is in the 7th house, Jupiter is either in the 12th house or the 2nd house, but either exalted or in its own sign. A person will get married when either Jupiter or Moon period is running between, let's say, the age of 18, 17 to, let's say, 24, 23. Okay. Like, I remember when I was 6, 7 years old, our neighbor's daughter got married at 21. And it wasn't a big deal. Like, oh, 21 married. Yeah, okay. This was back in like early 80s. But now if you get married at 20, we're like, what's wrong with you? Why are you ruining your life? Why are you getting married so early? So again, you see how the times have changed, literally just from 80s up to now. Then KIP, can removing a mole off your body affect your stars? Absolutely. Because mole are represented by planets. And especially what I've read is like Rahu represents mole. And sometimes you will see a mole can just appear even in your middle age somewhere. And if you notice, when that mole appears, suddenly a person could be making big money. Suddenly a person, let's say, could run into a health issue. Suddenly a person, when the mole appears, they have a child. Now, I cannot tell you exactly what placement because I have not dived deep into this subject. I've not done any research on this subject, but I know it exists. It is out there. Okay. I believe I wrote it down onto my notes. It's Yavanaka Jataka, I believe, is the book that can tell you about, moles and their placement. But removing and adding a mole definitely will, activate that particular planet that is representing that mole. And that's another thing. Some moles could be represented by Rahu, some could be by Moon, some could be by Jupiter, depending upon the placement. So, Alfred Pennyworth, current upcoming transit of many planets in Capricorn. Actually, Yeah, I might make this one on my KRS vlogs. So I'll do that there. Then Sadaf Fiadi. If I consciously skip my karma, for example, not marrying the one that I will end up getting divorced with, is there any chances that I postponed it to another life? I mean, do I have to pay it off anyway? So here's the thing, you're not doing anything. You were supposed to not marry that person. You already made a choice before you were born that you are going to come in my life and I'm going to reject you right now. Perhaps you're going to come in my life trying to marry me, but I'm sorry, we have already finished our karma off. So I don't want to deal with this rebuilding of a new karma with you. But it's not your choice that, oh, you let go of, so now you have to go to the next life. Again, this is a very, very quantum physics like understanding of karma that has to be understood. That you just, if we find out that, okay, you are to pay the karma with them, but your soul already made the deal that, no, I don't want to pay this karma with you right now. I'm going to pay this karma with you 6 lifetime down, which could be 400 years. We'll see each other in 400 years. We'll pay the karma off then. Because that's when I end my cycle here. And I would like you to be there at the end of my cycle. Okay? Like I was talking about the Vim Samsa chart. How a partner might be needed for attaining that final liberation. So, those things, but it's not something that you're making that choice. So haven't postponed anything. Either it was already designed to be or it's not. Okay, Jason 34, why is Rahu in the 8th house considered a bad placement? So again, Rahu in the 8th house is not a bad placement. I've seen lottery winners with Rahu in the 8th house, and not some millionaire lottery winner, people who actually won $15,000, $20,000. And Rahu has given them that sudden burst. The thing is, when Rahu is in a certain signs in nakshatra, it can really make a person, either become part of the wrong crowd, dealing with the underworld. It can make a person, a thief. It can make a person, manipulate people to get what they want. But on the other hand, a person can be an excellent scientist, excellent researcher, even an astrologer. Rahu in the 8th house can actually make a person a Kundalini teacher. So you see how there's like 2 sides to it. So never go on these things. I've heard this, I've heard that. You learn it properly, you experiment, you test it out before coming to any conclusion. And I say this on my academy too, whatever I'm teaching, you cannot blindly just go with it. You go and test it. Is it working? What he's saying, does it show? Then you are trying to learn something properly. Just because someone said 2 + 2 = 4, okay, well, 2 + 2 = 4. How is it 2 + 2 = 4? Okay, I have this 1 wood and 2 wood, and now I'm adding 2 other wood. That's why it's 4. Oh, okay. You have to look at it practically, as a child, in a way. Bob Go 46. Does the Ashlesha native have the same big seduction energy like Rohini and Mriksira? Okay, you're just giving me your planetary details. Okay, so yes, Ashlesha has a strong seduction power. As Ashlesha, you will notice, Ashlesha people will have the most hypnotic eyes. Literally, they have these like snake-like face structure and eyes that once you are talking to them, looking at them, you're just automatically just being seduced into their dimension. Because Ashlesha is also represents mysticism. They naturally have that mystical aura. And the thing is, there's certain things, like you were saying, your Saturn is in this or in D60. I can only discuss certain things here on this platform. I cannot go into deep depth of things, especially not in this day and age, because people may either become fearful, take it the wrong way, not understand the whole concept. So I will not really go into the depth of it, you know. But yes, there are definitely, it's a very mystical position, especially with Saturn in Ashlesha. I mean, a person can be a master of rituals with that. Okay. So then is from Rahul Juneja. What is Bhadakesh? Bhadakesh is a planet that rules a certain house for a certain ascendant, and that particular planet becomes the obstacle. So, for example, for Leo ascendant, Mars rules the ninth house, Mars becomes the Bhadakesh. But Mars is also the Yoga Karka, right? It is a very beneficial planet. But don't mistake that ninth house itself, it becomes Bhadakesh. It's not. It is only Mars that becomes problematic. And so what happens when a planet is a Yoga Karka, Raj Yoga giving planet and becoming Bhadakesh? It shows that after giving some obstruction, something that gets blocked, through that you gain. And it doesn't even have to be Bhadakesh all the time. So if Mars is in the ninth house, Mars aspects the ninth house, well, it's no longer Bhadakesh because it's not protecting the house that it's and its lordship being the Bhadakesh planet. So it's not always Bhadakesh. In certain places, yes, it becomes Bhadakesh, but also the giver of good things. But never think that if, like for example, for Virgo ascendant, seventh house is Bhadakesh. No, it is Jupiter that is Bhadakesh. Seventh house is seventh house. Perhaps if Jupiter is aspecting the seventh house, it's not even going to let you feel that Bhadakesh energy. Okay. So guys, this was very long. So hopefully you guys enjoyed my Q&A. Remember, I'm going to be on Odyssey today, ODYSEE.com at 7 p.m. taking live questions from you guys. So see you there. Bye-bye.